Worlds will burn. Now at last, on this world, vengeance shall be mine. For I am the Queen of Blades.
자유의 날개가 GSL과 함께한 지도 벌써 2년하고도 4개월이나 흘렀다. 2011년이 자유의 날개의 화려하고 실험적인 첫 날개짓이었다면 지난 2012년은 자유의 날개가 그 절정에 다다른 해라고 해야 할 거야. 2013 첫 시즌을 시작하기 전에 드라마틱하고 익사이팅했던 2012년을 다시 한번 돌아보자고 제군들. 2012년 첫 시즌, 브로드워의 레전드와 자유의 날개의 히어로들이 모여 정말 화려하게 시작했지. 박수호와 정민수라는 최초의 팀킬 결승, 5시즌 만에 대란 없는 결승이 성사됐어. 하지만 멋진 경기력과 독특한 무대 연출, 5천여 명의 관객이 함께한 멋진 결승이었지. 꽃피는 봄에 개막했던 시즌2, 저그의 순환시대였지만 결승전은 정말 최고였어. 이 짐 레이너의 위대한 수호자 정종현은 4회 우승의 위협을 달성했고, 박현호 역시 아낌없는 찬사를 받았던 GSL 최고의 명경기, 아마 오래도록 잊지 못할 거야. 2012 GSL 시즌3에서는 GSL 최초로 프로토스 대 프로토스의 결승전이 성사됐어. 탁 트인 부산 해운대 앞바다에서 안상호는 푸통령 장민철을 꺾고 두 번째 프로토스 우승자로 기록됐지. 시즌4는 정말 흠잡을 데 없는 최고의 시즌이었어. 세 종족의 기막힌 황금 밸런스, 협회 소속 선수들의 GSL 공식 첫 출전, 그리고 32강부터 결승까지 이어졌던 명경기 퍼레이드까지. 물론 결승전도 최고 중에 최고였지. GSL 5회 우승을 노리던 정종현을 꺾고 만 15세 소년 이승현은 GSL 최초의 로열 로더가 됐지. 프로토스의 순환이 시작됐던 시즌5, 많은 선수들이 라스베가스행 티켓을 위해 치열하게 싸웠지. 결국 꿈의 도시에서 꿈을 이뤄낸 주인공은 어린 스나이퍼 권태훈이 됐어. 2012년을 평정한 전 세계 최고의 선수들이 모여 펼쳤던 별들의 전쟁, GSL 블리자드컵, 스타테일의 팀킬 결승이 성사됐지. 저그의 패러다임을 이끈 주인공 이승현은 최후의 프로토스 원이삭을 꺾고 2012년 최고의 베스트 플레이어로 기록됐어. 돌아보니 정말 멋진 한 해였군 그래. 여러분들, 이제 2013년의 첫 시즌이 시작된다. 올해 역시 최고의 경기 기대도 되겠지. 자, 준비됐나? 지금부터 자유의 날개를 활짝 펴라고.
And we're back. It's 2013, and we're here with another season of the GSL Codes. Tasteless and Artos is here. Are you excited?
I am really excited, Tasteless. I don't even remember how to talk into a camera anymore.
We actually had 6 weeks off, so I don't know if this game's going to start up and look at my screen and be like, I forgot how to cast
What game
StarCraft.
is this that we're doing again?
I think it's StarCraft. I believe it's the Wings of Liberty edition.
This is the longest that we have gone without casting,
in years.
Probably in 5 years.
Yeah.
Can you think of a time in the last 5 years that neidher of us have casted a video game?
No, it hasn't
for more
happened
than 6 weeks.
Since we've been out here in Korea for a while, about 5 years, and I have not thought of a moment where we have not casted at least something since the start of StarCraft 2.
It's weird. I feel weird right now, Tasteless.
Well, it was pretty cool for the first 2 weeks because, I just sit around in my house in my underwear and stuff. Like,
yeah. Well, I was actually
video
sick
games
for most of it, but
that's right. You did get sick, actually.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of StarCraft, man.
Oh, yeah, man. Well, you got all the time in the world these past little bit. And, look, we got a lot of great stuff planned here for this year, 2013. So I am really looking forward to this. I think this season's going to kick a lot of ass.
It is.
Heart of the Swarm is on the way.
Guys, get on Twitter and tell everyone to come watch this because this is the last season of Wings of Liberty before the expansion comes out, as Tasteless said. And we want everyone to tune in because it's been a long time since the Codes, and this is the greatest show on Earth.
Absolutely. Easily, hands down. And look, Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm. Heart of the Swarm is going to be so different. Everything that we're seeing now, it's not probably going to be the same as far as metagame goes, as far as the pacing and the matchups. So what's kind of cool about this is we're going to see the final best Wings of Liberty player.
Yes.
That's really cool. So it's going to be awesome. Our schedule for this whole year, you can find the entire thing on the website. But as you can see here, we're going to have 2 weeks of hardcore, round of 32 Codes, and then it's going to be 2 days of non-stop StarCraft 2 action per week.
That's right. And guys, I mean, we're going to have a lot of StarCraft this year. It's going to be a ton of fun. And today we have what many people are calling the Group of Death.
Oh, yeah.
It's a pretty darn stacked group today, Tasteless.
Well,
I mean, creator, ByuL, Symbol, and Life.
I love and I hate these groups because it's exciting to see so many good games right off the bat, but at the same time, you got to realize not all these guys are going to get out, and that's kind of sad too.
Now let's talk about our new maps a little bit. First off, Kespa Neoplanet S. They've been using this in Pro League a lot. It's a 2-player map, as you see. The rush distance, 32 seconds. That is to go from base to base.
Right.
And they increase that to 34 seconds. They change the widths of the walls in the center a little bit. And it is an interesting map. We've seen mostly Terran players fielded on this in Pro League, if you've been paying attention to that. So it'll be interesting to see if in the GSL we find it to be a little bit Terran flavored.
Flavored, indeed.
Flavored, yes.
Tell us about our next map, Artosis.
All right, well, Icarus, this map is kind of wild because behind the main base, you have a natural expansion that's super easy to take and has 2 gold patches. We've never tried something like this, but I'm really excited to see how that turns out.
What's great about this is there's so much you can do with these maps. I love a backdoor expansion.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of Blade Storm in StarCraft 1. But, it's going to be very interesting.
And it's especially interesting because the third base is going to be so hard to take on that map. So that's going to be fun to see what happens. Now then we have Akalon Flats. This is basically Akalon Waste from the beta of Heart of the Swarm. It's basically the same map, but we changed it a little bit. Those watchtowers in the center that are ridiculously powerful and can see anything coming at you, they die after 7 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's going to be something that you really utilize in the early game, but later on, it's not going to be game-breaking like it could be otherwise.
Right.
And then, of course, we have Whirlwind. We changed this up just a little bit, guys. It has to do with some rocks located in some new locations. As you see, excuse me, I mean, we changed it, both these maps a little bit. It has Vestige here on the right as well. There's some new ramps and stuff. We're just trying to zero in on these maps, make them a little bit more balanced, make them a little bit more fresh.
Some of these maps we got to gut entirely, but there's other ones we can try tweaking stuff a little bit here. And, this is sort of a process which all pro gamers and esports events kind of are going through. Okay, how do you make the best map? What's fair in one matchup might not be fair in another matchup.
True, yeah.
So we keep.
It's hard to. This is actually
God, it's so hard.
StarCraft 1 stopped being balanced after a long time, and for years it was just balanced through making the maps different.
Yes, this is actually true. A lot of people don't know that.
StarCraft 2 is getting towards that, where it's like, well, you can just change the map slightly to alter the balance of the game.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and of course, it is always a work in progress. Yeah. So this is going to be a lot of fun. As you can see, our racial distribution here, only 5 Protosses.
Yeah. And only 13 Terrans, which blows my mind because this is I think it's the first season ever in Code S where we don't have Terrans as the most.
Yeah, Terran historically in GSL has been dominating pretty heavily here. So as you can see, here's Group A through D. Yeah. I am super excited about Group C specifically because Huck is back.
Oh, that is going to be so much fun, man. And that's a great group, too. A big fan favorite and Bomber there, the last GSL champion Sniper, Gumiho, my favorite Terran. I mean, all these groups are pretty darn stacked. I especially like how we have our Protosses spread out quite a bit, even though we don't have many. We get to see them a lot of different times.
No, wouldn't it just be terrible if we had 3 Protosses in a group or something like that? And then let's say only one gets out or something?
Oh, God. Well, I mean, with 1 in each group, then, well, not even quite 1 in each group, but we'll see how many of them get through Tasteless. I have faith. These are some top-end Protosses.
I think, we couldn't ask for a better Protoss lineup, really, for who's actually still here. But
I could ask for Rain and Younghua, but I won't. I'm not greedy. I'm not selfish.
I'm not going to push it that far. I got to say, Huck's group, by the way, Group C, looking pretty damn
that's a tough group, man. That's a tough group. But he's performed in PVT a lot recently at IPL during his up-and-down groups. Yeah, we'll see if he can get through Bomber and Gumio. They're hard guys.
Now, as we move on here.
ST, oh my God, he's back.
He is back.
Tasteless, we can't even. Listen, we need to start now with the hype. I know he's not playing until next Thursday, but Nesty is back. All right, he fell all the way out. He went through the Code A qualifiers. Yeah. He went through Code A. He went through the up and downs, won his up and down group, and here he is in Code S again. Tasteless, you know what he wanted to do was probably just come back, win the Nesty Award for the second time before anyone else wins it for the first time. But MVP screwed that up.
Yeah.
What a jerk.
MVP, not a team player there.
No, not a team player at all.
Of course, we can't forget a Group H with Stefano. That is going to be sick.
That is pretty sick, Tasteless. But Nesty, oh my God. He's back, Tasteless. The final Wings of Liberty season.
We can actually continue our Nesty jokes now.
Yes,
we like the guy, and he's a great player, but then when he got knocked out, we're like, that's too bad. I guess we can't really.
Well, you know what? He wanted to taste what it was like defeat and
he's like, what is this like?
Through.
He loses a game, and he's like, that's not very good.
Code S is kind of easy. I wonder what Code A is like. And he's like, well, that's kind of easy too. I wonder what the Code A qualifiers are like. He's like, well, damn, I guess Code S was the hardest. I'll go back.
So our first matchup's going to be Creator against ByuL. And then next, we're going to have Symbol against Life.
And then, of course, winners versus winners, losers versus losers, and then loser versus winner.
That's right, Artosis.
Yep.
You gave me the cutest little grin. I wish you could cast.
I'm so happy to be back.
I really missed casting.
God,
I mean, a vacation's nice, but wow, that was a long wait, man.
It certainly was. I've been dying to get back here and get some more cases.
So here are our 4 players. They will shake hands and go to their proper booths.
That's right.
And momentarily, we're going to get these games going.
Yeah. This is a really sick group, and ByuL is the one that a lot of people probably look at and say, who's that exactly? But ByuL is a sick, badass baller.
You might only know that if you're a pretty avid
GSTL watcher.
Or just a StarCraft 2 guy in general, watching pretty much every match that's out there, which, by the way, is probably physically impossible because there's so much StarCraft.
I tried. It's impossible.
It's pretty hard. All right, so here is Creator. This guy, I love his builds.
Yeah, he's very stylistic. He's definitely a macro-oriented player. Goes macro Colossi a lot of the time against Terran and Protoss. Against Zerg, he normally focuses a little bit more heavily upon Blink Stalkers, but he has some other styles in there too. He likes very quick third bases with light sentry counts and quick upgrades. He has a pretty reasonable range.
I feel like Creator MC Parting probably some of the best you can ever watch for PvZ.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to learn PvZ, you're going to want to watch the right games here.
Creator is basically a top 5 Protoss in everything.
Yeah.
If you want to model yourself after Creator, you won't go wrong as a Protoss player.
Absolutely. And remember, he only had one matchup to prepare for because there's 3 Zergs in this group.
Yeah.
So, and that actually is, let me tell you something, guys, that is really helpful.
It makes a big difference.
Prepare even for 2 races or at worst 3. That's hard. Now, over here on the right, we have ByuL.
That's right. And ByuL, he's a very strong player. Used to be in Fnatic. Did recently switch over to LGIM. And he's really good, and he mixes in a lot of different play. This guy will do plenty of cheeses. He'll play macro. He's kind of unpredictable in this way.
Yeah, and he's one of our newer Zergs. He's not brand new.
Yeah, I mean,
but again, you guys might not have heard much about this guy, but don't take that as he's a scrub compared to these other players. He is very solid.
Yeah, he's one of the only 2 players having their first Code S, by the way. So this is like a bunch of veterans in here, and then also ByuL and Stefano. And Stefano is a
Stefano's
seed who hasn't
a
tried
heavy
Code S
hitter.
yet.
Yeah, Stefano's a pretty heavy hitter.
Yeah.
You know, I got to say, out of all the foreigners that could win a GSL, I do think Stefano is capable of doing it.
Certainly,
I really think he's been performing so well. When I watch him play, I could just see the genius. So this is going to be a lot of fun.
All right. Well, we got a new little sign. No longer does it say CODES. It says Code S now.
That's right. And it looks like our players are requesting to start. So we will be doing that momentarily. Artosis, your predictions?
I feel like Creator takes it 2-1.
I think the exact same thing.
Yeah, I think for sure ByuL will take a game, though. This guy is too dangerous.
Yeah. Can he win? I mean, there's a lot of pressure on this guy. Code S, he really can't get much more prestigious than, this tournament.
Yeah.
This is the most competitive tournament on Earth.
Seriously, it is. Let's do it, Tasteless.
All right, let's get this going.
Bring me to the game.
It's 2013, and we're going to go up with our first game for the first day of the first season. It's going to be ByuL against Creator here at the GSL Code S. And in the bottom left, introducing our players, we have our Protoss player, very solid, easily one of the top 5 Protosses in the world. He is
Creator Prime.
Ooh, well, that was a sick graphic.
I like that. Look at that.
They told us they changed it. I didn't know it was that cool.
Yeah. I can't wait to see what the Zerg one looks like. You think it'll hatch?
Good. All right, in the upper right, one of the only new players here in this GSL Code S, a veteran. He is well, it's exactly the same thing. That's totally fine as well.
Yeah, no, it reminds me of like flower petals being blown in an upgust.
Yeah, sure.
That's what it's like. It's like that. What's the name of that guy from Bleach? Oh God, I can't remember it now. The guy with the pink petals.
I haven't followed Bleach yet.
I haven't watched it in years, but anyways.
By the way, I did not mess up those intros.
That's right.
We got a bet going on my Twitter right now.
Yeah.
If you guys want to participate, will I screw up one of the player intros since we are rusty?
I'm voting yes.
Well, I screw it up most of the time, anyways, at least once. But
yeah.
Now I'm going to try extra hard. You can be the judge. You can be the judge if I actually.
All right, I'll judge it
because I have a bias.
Okay, so Tasteless.
Yes.
This is pretty awesome. How do we go about casting StarCraft games again?
I think we pretty much wait and see if anybody does anything like,
anything weird or
anything weird, and then otherwise we basically sum up and maybe a sentence or two what the matchup's going to look like.
Let's just talk about Pokemon.
And then we kill a little bit of time here.
Yeah.
Until their pieces are all set up.
Well, I don't think we kill time till we say something like, this is very standard by both players.
That's actually very true. When I'm like, these guys are both just really good guys, So I just,
You see,
Make no mistake, you know.
I mean, look at this. He went for a 9 scout. It's a pool first into a hatchery. The probe's trying to block it.
Sometimes I can do great equivocations. I could be like, you know, remember, this guy's a GSL champion, so he's got a shot, but hey, don't count his opponent out either, guys, because sometimes these new players,
That's right,
they do a great job. That's a great way to buy time, too.
Well, I tell you what, guys, I hope you missed us as much as we missed you, because this is great already. All right.
All right.
So everything right now is standard.
It is. Probably have a third hatch coming up here soon, and you can see the drone's going to be escorted with these Zerglings.
That's right.
Meanwhile, the Protoss, we really just want to wait until the cybernetic score finishes. He hasn't made that yet. I'll have to wait for the gateway to finish. But when the cybernetic score finishes, that's if build orders are like a tree stump, or a tree, that phase of the game is like the stump. And then once the branches come out, that's where we have different directions as to where the match builds can go, I should say.
Sure. All right. Well, I'm pretty excited to see what type of style Creator's going to use here. There's been, since the last time I commented, there has been a lot of little changes to this matchup.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, it's still overall the directions are very similar, but especially parting has kind of evolved the matchup overall.
Yeah, sure.
And shown, various ways to play long macro games that are tempo-based. He's shown that the mothership is the most important unit. And he's shown that, of course, Immortal pushes still absolutely do work.
Yep. Now, I feel like a Creator has a little bit more flexibility in his playstyle than Party does. But so we'll see what exactly the build is he's going to do. Party was pretty hooked in that Immortal Sentry push for a while.
He certainly was.
I don't even blame the guy. I mean, it was winning, and that's what's most important.
Yeah. And, definitely two different Protosses, though, because the Parting, you look at him, and it's like, well, both of these players, first off, are complete players. They have the complete package. They've got everything that you want as a pro gamer. But I would focus on Parting as a micro-based player. His unit control tops anybody's.
You don't normally get champions that are micro-based players.
No, it's not as often.
It's
but
not as
when you're
common.
that much of a complete package, he's not a micro-based player like, for instance, Polt was when he won his championship.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Polt nowadays is a complete player, but back then he could only micro, you know?
Yeah.
But anyways, I mean, we have Creator here going into a Stargate, and I wouldn't be surprised if he goes into his standard 3 base with Stargate play. You know, get a bunch of Phoenixes out, go into Colossus Tech, get some upgrades, take that 3rd base. It's a little bit greedy, but he's very good at it.
We oftentimes see Zergs not really get attacked that much until that 4th base is being taken. Basically, the Protoss sits on 3 bases and waits for the Zerg to try to push out and take that 4th, in which case, because the 4th base for the Zerg here, which in this case would be top center, very vulnerable. A lot of different ways you can punish that expansion.
Yeah.
Especially since you can attack down from high ground.
Well, he's actually made a Void Ray first here, and that's interesting because Void Ray first has gone out of style a little bit.
It's not as common, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, and he shows it immediately as well. Now, that's going to be a little bit annoying to deal with, but Void Rays nowadays don't do that much damage against Zergs. They know how to deal with it very well.
Yeah.
But I think he's making the Void Ray first because he's like, well, you know what, I'm going to clear out all the Overlords, take that 3rd base, and then use the Void Ray more defensively because it puts a clock on any roach attacks.
The Void Ray, it's very multifaceted as far as what it can do. I mean, it's going to force his Zerg to get some defense here, so he doesn't lose too many units. But then also you can hold those watchtowers with it. You can even have them go out and attack blind expansions that are too far out. There's not a lot you can do to punish it. So
very true.
It is a great unit, although I do agree with you. The metagame right now, Void Rays have been phased out a little bit, which might be why Creator's using it now because it's probably not as what ByuL's practice against as much.
Yeah. And look at this. That is a super quick 3rd base from Creator. I mean, a 9-minute 3rd base in Protoss vs. Zerg is about as quickly as you can possibly take it. So that Void Ray definitely going to play a big role defensively here.
All right, he's moving in here. I was going to say, ByuL probably should not attack into this. He's trying to bait out a force field here.
Yeah, but Creator, he knows how to hold on to something like this, and he should be fine. I mean, he's going to hold that, and in this case, we have to see how ByuL wants to actually counteract this. Does he go for some sort of attack? Does he just take his 4th base?
Yeah, you do make a good point. If they do take their third very quickly, I mean, you might not be able to punish it, but that certainly means they can't punish you for taking your fourth.
Yeah. And, you know, if, for instance, you do try to punish something like this from Creator, and he shuts it down, the game is over. Creator will just kill you afterwards.
Yeah.
So you really have to be careful with what you choose. And as we see, he's still droning up. I mean, ByuL is not going to get aggressive here. He's getting his Spire, he's getting his Infestation Pit, and he's continuing to drone heavily.
I thought you called him Veal for a second.
Veal?
Yeah, and I'm like, what? Like, that's not an intimidating ID. Veal.
The Veal?
The Veal.
He's like, all I do is stand up and drink milk.
All I do is sit in a small box and... What do they feed Veal?
Milk.
Oh, they feed Veal milk?
Yeah. It's baby cows that just sit there, stand there and drink milk.
It's actually like, very sad.
Yeah, it is.
Also very delicious.
You learn about everything on the GSL. PvZ
Everything.
build orders, Zerg aggression,
Oh, yeah.
and how ByuL is made.
Here's what I'm talking about. The Void Ray can actually hit that fourth hatch, and
Yeah, that's pretty
he's going to
annoying.
get something over there. I mean, if he does do a timing attack on the fourth base, that hatchery will be softened up a little bit.
Now we do have a lot of Zerglings trying to run in here. And oh, he actually has that misplaced sentry, so that's going to be minorly annoying. He's going to probably have to warp in some units here, which makes any timing attacks a little bit less powerful.
The Void Ray is continuing to hit the fourth base. We might have a forced cancel here. Meanwhile, pretty not good attack over there at the third base. I'm really articulate when it shows us.
And the Void Ray getting away. See, the Void Ray still being a pretty annoying thing. You know, you think, well, why doesn't he just bring a bunch of queens over there? Well, there's also a lot of phoenixes on the map. So
Yeah.
if you bring queens, really the Spore defense is going to be a little bit better, but of course the Void Ray can micro around that. So Creator's done a good job with this Void Ray opener.
All right, there's some infestors out here now. Now, you got to be careful with your phoenixes when the infestors are out, because if they fungal you once, you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, normally they can chain it up, throw down some infested Terrans, stuff like that. All right, so we do have Creator moving out right now, Tasteless. He's got that nice 3 base probe saturation right now. Going for this big attack, and a lot of energy being used by these infestors.
A lot of infested Terrans coming over here, but he does manage to pull the Colossus away in time. Actually, also getting some infestors here with these phoenixes.
That's right.
One Colossus still remains low on HP, but still enough to do some damage. Pushing out now, picking up the queens. It looks like he's trying to get spine crawlers, over there in time. Now remember, that hatch is pretty low. It got softened up pretty heavily here, so it looks like that should go down. And if he does lose that fourth hatch, as Artosis said earlier, not a lot that he can really do to come back.
This is a really bad situation for ByuL. In fact, another infestor gets picked up. This is some great usage of these phoenixes, and in fact, he still has 4 there. And you know what? There's not even energy left on these infestors, so those phoenixes have done a fantastic job. The Void Ray softened everything. This was a great attack by Creator. Now, 3 base versus 3 base, he's definitely got a solid advantage.
What is a common solution for Protoss is when they're in this position. Well, it's not so much that he has to have a solution. He's already in the lead. But the next move is to let that hatch finish that one right there again, then come in there and kill it again.
Yeah. That's
because they can't lift it off like Terran. They can't do.
And you know, this is actually where the matchup can become quite tempo-based, because the energy he knows is basically gone off the infestors. And when they're very low in energy, you can actually pressure more than you should be able to at that point in the game.
Absolutely.
Because the infestors are a huge part of their army, and if you're only fighting against, you know, basically a few infested Terran eggs plus Roachling, you just keep the pressure on. And look, he already forced the cancel from ByuL. So ByuL now going for a counterattack. He realizes that he's in a terrible spot.
And the funny thing is, Creator's done such a good job. He's made very sure to not take a 4th base until he absolutely has to.
Yeah,
Zerg is behind him. It's on even bases.
You know, this is very Creator-esque as well. He does not like to take that 4th base. He wants to finish on 3, and he is moving forward. Good fungal on those Zealots, but they are going to close the distance eventually. These infestors have almost no energy left, and Creator is doing a fantastic job.
Isolating that so that the hatchery can be punished. And it looks like he's going to lose his 3rd base as well. And could very well lose this game.
That is right. It looks like Creator may have done enough damage. All the infestors being taken out. Yeah, that is about that, Tasteless.
Yeah, this is pretty much over here.
Yeah.
As Creator is going on here to win game number 1, GG against ByuL.
Yep.
In our first game of the first day of the first season of
The first year after 2012.
Yes. The first cast of my year.
Yeah.
When I'm wearing new underpants for the first time. No. Creator, damn, he looked pretty ferocious. Now I want to change my prediction. I think it could be a 2-0.
It could be. It could be. He looked really, really strong there. That's Creator for you. He takes what Creator does is he forces you into this ridiculous decision of, okay, I've taken a 9-minute third base while teching in 2 directions.
Yeah.
Do you want to all in on me? Because if you don't all in on him, then he's going to come out with a ferocious 3-base attack because his economy is so good. But if you do all in on him, it's kind of all in. So, yeah, I mean, Creator puts people to the test with these 3-base builds. That is how he plays. He wants to end on 3-base, and ByuL needs to take that into consideration. He needs to prepare against that. He needs to bring it beyond that part of the game.
Also, you got to keep in mind that this group is really hard. So you really want to win this first game.
Oh, I would say so.
Because if you lose, I mean, you don't have you are not allowed to make a mistake. There is no wiggle room, no room to breathe.
That is right, Tasteless. It's like you're underwater.
It is, and you don't know how to swim.
You don't know how to
swim.
And also, Symbol or Life is also underwater.
Are you good at swimming?
Yes. Into swimming? I like to swim.
I like to swim.
I'm not
good at it. I kind of dog paddle. I got a mean dog paddle. That's about it. All right. We're going on into game number 2. Is Creator going to close this out? Or is ByuL going to go bring us to the rubber match between these two? We're going to find out soon at the GSL